Celeb 20 news updates.
Celeb 20.
Ahead of the buzz.
All things celebrity.
So let's continue this story. You know, sometimes you see something online that really makes you stop and think.
Yeah.
And Selena Gomez's Instagram post about ICE deportations.
Right.
That was one of those moments for me.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, she posted that video and then deleted it so quickly.
Yeah. It's been fascinating to see the reaction to it.
What do you think about this whole thing?
Well, there's definitely been a lot of talk about it online. It's interesting because it goes beyond just immigration policy, you know?
Right.
We're talking about celebrities and how much influence they really have.
Yeah, and how they use that platform.
Exactly.
And it's not every day that a pop star with that many followers, I think she has over 400 million.
Yeah, huge.
Gets so emotional about a controversial topic like this.
It is unusual.
Like to be so vulnerable and open.
Makes you wonder what made her speak out like that in the first place. And then
Immediately take it back.
Yeah, like she almost regretted it instantly.
It's especially surprising for someone like Selena Gomez, who's usually very careful about her online image.
Yeah, very polished.
So that's what we're going to deep dive into today.
Okay, sounds good.
We're going to look at what happened, why it matters, and what this whole thing tells us about celebrities, their personal experiences, and complex issues like immigration.
And it's important to remember, we're not here to tell you what to think about immigration.
Right.
Our goal is to just, look at this situation from different angles and let you form your own opinion.
Exactly. So let's start by rewinding back to that video.
Okay.
What exactly did she say that got everyone so fired up?
Well, picture this, right?
Okay.
You've got Selena, visibly upset, tears running down her face, talking about the ICE deportations, and she's talking directly to her followers.
Wow.
It's obvious she's really bothered by what's happening, especially how it's affecting children.
Yeah.
Even included a Mexican flag emoji in the caption and wrote, "I'm sorry."
It's so different from her usual posts.
Right.
Which are usually about like music or fashion or whatever.
Exactly. Totally different.
And it's not just sadness either.
No, it's more than that.
There's this feeling that she wants to do something.
Yeah, like a sense of urgency.
But she feels stuck.
Yeah.
Like she's powerless.
Like, what can she actually do?
Right. Exactly.
And she says, all my people are getting attacked. The children. I don't understand. I'm so sorry. I wish I could do something, but I can't. I don't know what to do. I'll try everything, I promise.
Wow. That's
pretty powerful.
Yeah. It makes you think maybe this is more than just headlines for her.
That's a good point. And it turns out immigration is really personal for Selena.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. Her family's from Mexico originally, right?
Yeah, her aunt actually came to the U.S. in the 1970s, hidden in the back of a truck.
Wow. Didn't come back again.
That's a huge risk.
Absolutely. And then later her grandparents came too. Her father was actually born in Texas.
Okay.
And then Selena was born in 92, so she's a U.S. citizen.
So it's not just some political debate for her.
No, not at all.
This is literally her family we're talking about.
Exactly. It's their story.
And she actually talked about this in a Time magazine interview back in 2019. She said, in the 1970s, my aunt crossed the border from Mexico to the United States hidden in the back of a truck. In 1992, I was born a U.S. citizen thanks to their bravery and sacrifice.
Wow. That puts her reaction in a whole new light.
It does.
It wasn't just, some random thing she posted.
No, it was personal.
This is really deeply rooted in her family's history.
Exactly.
And her worries about their future.
And she said in that same interview, when I read the news headlines or see debates about immigration rage on social media, I feel afraid for those in similar situations. I feel afraid for my country.
So those fears are real for her.
Oh, yeah, very real.
It all makes sense now.
It does, right?
That video, even though she deleted it, it really hit a nerve with people.
Yeah, it did.
Some people loved it, some people hated it.
A lot of praise, but also some harsh criticism.
Yeah.
Like Piers Morgan, for example.
Oh, yeah, what did he say?
He basically said she was being performative, called it a new level of absurd celebrity narcissism.
Ouch. But it is interesting how a short video can cause such strong reactions.
It shows how sensitive this whole topic is and how divided people are.
Right.
Even people who generally agree on things.
Yeah. It's why it's so important to look at this whole thing carefully.
I agree.
And not just jump to conclusions.
Absolutely. And that brings us to something else that's interesting about all of this. It wasn't just about the video for Selena.
Right.
She's actually done more than just posting online.
Oh, right.
She's actually trying to do something about the issue.
She produced that documentary, right?
Yeah, she did.
About families facing deportation.
Yep. back in 2019. It's called Living Undocumented.
That's right.
It was on Netflix. And people really liked it. It showed the human side of this issue.
So for her, this is about more than just talking.
Yeah.
She's using her platform to bring attention to this and to the stories of the people being affected.
Absolutely. And, this all happened when there was already a lot of tension around immigration in the U.S., especially at the beginning of President Trump's second term.
Oh, right. Those ICE raids.
Exactly. Remember those?
Yeah, I remember.
Over 1,200 people were arrested, and they were all undocumented immigrants who had criminal records.
Right.
And it's important to clarify, ICE is the agency that enforces immigration laws here.
Okay.
So they were the ones doing those raids.
Okay.
And those raids, even though they were focused on people who had committed crimes, they caused a lot of controversy.
Of course. Because, criminal record could mean a lot of things.
Yeah.
It could be something minor or something really serious.
Exactly. And that's where it gets complicated.
Yeah.
Some people were totally in favor of the raids.
Yeah.
They said it was about following the law and keeping people safe.
I can see that.
But then others said that it was causing too much fear, especially for families, and especially when children were involved. It shows how divided everyone is on this. And it's like Selena's video, even though it was up for such a short time, it just tapped into all of that emotion.
Like she accidentally revealed how intense people's feelings are.
Yeah, exactly.
That's crazy. How even something so spontaneous
I know, it's amazing.
Can spark such a huge discussion.
It really is. And that's something we're going to talk more about in the next part of our deep dive.
Okay, great.
We'll dig deeper into what it means for celebrities to be activists and how to talk about these controversial issues.
Yeah, because it's not easy.
Not at all.
And we'll look at how even small actions can make a difference.
Exactly. So stay tuned for that.
It's crazy how much attention that video got.
Yeah.
Even though it was only up for a few minutes.
I know.
Do you think this is part of a bigger trend? Like more and more celebrities are speaking out about these big issues?
I think so, definitely. We've seen a real shift. More celebrities are using their platforms to talk about things they care about, but it's a tough spot to be in,
What do you mean?
Well, there's this pressure on them to use their fame for good.
Yeah, like they have a responsibility.
Exactly. But then as soon as they say something controversial, the backlash is huge.
Right. It's like a no-win situation.
Yeah.
If they stay silent, people criticize them for not doing enough.
Right.
But if they speak up, then they're accused of being fake or out of touch.
It's tough. You can't win.
And it makes you wonder, what does it even mean to use your platform for good?
That's a good question.
Like, who gets to decide what that is?
Yeah, who defines that?
Is it about supporting certain political ideas?
Yeah, or maybe it's more about giving a voice to people who aren't usually heard.
Right, or promoting empathy.
Exactly. Those are all important.
But how do we know if it's genuine?
Right. How do we tell if they actually care?
Or if they're just trying to, boost their image?
It's hard to know what people's real motivations are.
Especially online.
Yeah, especially on social media.
Where everything is amplified.
And everyone analyzes every little thing you do.
It's almost like we expect celebrities to be more moral than everyone else.
Yeah.
Like, they can't make mistakes.
They're held to a higher standard.
But they're human, just like us.
They are. They have their own problems.
Their own struggles and vulnerability.
Exactly. And that's what makes this whole thing with Selena so interesting.
Right.
She's this huge star, and she's breaking down, crying about something that's clearly important to her.
It reminds us that even with all the fame and money, there's still a real person there.
Exactly.
With real feelings.
And those feelings are valid.
Yeah. It doesn't matter if we agree with her about immigration or not.
Exactly. It's her experience.
It's how she feels.
And I think that's what connected with people.
Yeah. That honesty.
That vulnerability.
It cut through all the noise.
And it reminded everyone that immigration isn't just a political debate.
Right.
It's about real people.
Their families, their lives.
Their hopes and dreams.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And by being vulnerable herself,
Yeah.
Selena created a space for people to connect with those human stories.
Even if it was just for a short time,
Right.
She made it personal. She reminded people that this isn't just about slogans.
Right. It's not just about politics.
It's about real people.
And that's powerful. It makes you think about how much impact one small thing can have.
It really does. Sometimes the best thing you can do is just be honest,
Yeah.
share how you feel, even if it's messy, even if you don't have it all figured out.
Because those moments of honesty,
Yeah.
That's where we connect with each other.
That's how we start to understand each other.
Right.
And that can lead to real change.
Maybe that's what Selena did with that video.
Maybe, who knows?
Even if it wasn't what she planned.
Right.
Maybe she got people thinking. Maybe she inspired someone to learn more.
Or just made someone feel seen.
Right, like their story matters.
Exactly. And it's like the butterfly effect.
Yeah.
Something small can have huge consequences.
It's hopeful, right?
It is.
Even with such a big and complicated issue like immigration, there's still room for empathy.
For connection.
And maybe even for change.
Yeah, I think you've hit on something important. It's not about forcing our opinions on others.
Right.
It's about understanding each other.
And seeing the human side of things.
Exactly.
Which brings us back to celebrities and how much influence they have. We've talked about the pressure on them.
Yeah.
The potential backlash.
And how important it is to be genuine.
Right. But what does it actually look like to talk about these big issues in a responsible way?
That's a tough question.
Yeah.
And that's what we'll talk about in the last part of our deep dive.
Okay. Sounds good.
We'll look at some celebrities who are doing it well.
Yeah.
And talk about what we can learn from them.
We've talked about a lot.
We have.
Selena Gomez's video, her family story. The whole debate about celebrities and activism.
It's complicated.
It really shows you how much our personal lives
are
connected to these big social issues.
Absolutely.
It's crazy how one little thing online
I know, right?
can spark such a huge conversation.
So many different layers.
Yeah. So what can we all learn from this?
Good question.
How can we talk about these issues in a way that's responsible?
Yeah.
In a way that makes a difference?
Yeah.
Especially those of us who aren't famous.
That's the big question, isn't it?
Yeah.
And honestly, I don't think there's one right answer.
Okay.
But one thing that's really important is to be genuine.
Right.
People can tell if you really care.
Yeah.
Or if you're just trying to follow the crowd.
Don't just talk the talk.
Right. You got to walk the walk.
Exactly.
Do your research, learn about the issue, listen to different points of view, and find ways to help out, even if it's just in your own community.
So it's not about having all the answers or trying to change everyone's mind.
Right.
It's about being humble and being open to learning.
Absolutely. These are complex issues. There's no easy solutions. And sometimes the best thing you can do is just listen.
Yeah.
Especially to people who have experienced these things firsthand.
Yeah. And maybe that's where celebrities can really make a difference.
I think so.
Not telling us what to think, but giving a voice to people who don't usually get heard.
Exactly.
Sharing those stories that we wouldn't hear otherwise.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what Selena did.
It's possible.
Even if she didn't mean to.
Yeah.
Maybe she started a conversation. Maybe she made someone want to learn more.
Or maybe she just helped someone feel less alone.
Right.
Like their story matters.
And that's powerful.
It is.
So what can we take away from all of this?
Well, I think Selena's story, even though it's kind of messy, it teaches us something important.
What's that?
We all have a role to play in these conversations about important social issues.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you're famous or not.
Right.
Your voice matters.
Yeah.
And even small actions can make a difference.
Like that butterfly effect?
Exactly.
Wow. It's not about being perfect.
No.
Or always knowing the right thing to say.
It's about being willing to learn.
Yeah.
To listen to each other. And to use our voices to make the world a better place.
That's beautiful.
And sometimes it's about being brave enough to be vulnerable, to share our own stories, even if it's scary.
Because that's how we connect with each other.
Exactly.
That's a great way to end this.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into Selena Gomez, immigration, and how we can all make a difference.
Thanks for having me.
We hope you learned something new and that you'll continue this conversation in your own life.